one block, two deadly shootings 15 hours apart. That's the reality in one New Orleans East neighborhood, and it is leaving neighbors fuming. WDSU's Harrison Golden is live in New Orleans East, where police are still investigating what happened. Harrison?
Sulla, this afternoon's shooting left one person dead. Last night's shooting left two, and it's leaving a lot of people in this part of New Orleans East losing count of all the crime they're encountering here.
The New Orleans East, a portion of the 9th Ward, is undoubtedly the largest section of the city. The area covers land east of the Industrial Canal and north of the Mississippi River. Locals usually refer to this entire area as the New Orleans East. There would be little development of this land until the late 19th century. Before this time, only two areas were built out. The higher strip of ground along Gentilly Road, along the old bayous, natural levee and camps of houses raised on stilts developed in clusters along the edge of Lake Pontchartrain. Much development would begin after the Industrial Canal was completed in 1920 and post-World War II by those who preferred a more suburban lifestyle. The urbanized areas immediately east of the Industrial Canal largely date to the 1960s and the 1970s and include such neighborhoods as Lake Willow, Spring Lake, Kenilworth, Seabrook, Malaya, Pines Village, Lake Forest East, Lake Forest West, Ed Lake, Plum Orchard, Bonita Park, Donna Villa, Willowbrook, Cerise, Evangeline Oaks, and Castle Manor. Originally named Lake Forest, a development first centered along the easternmost segment of Lake Forest Boulevard, the Reed Boulevard East area began growing in the 1970s and would continue to develop. It would include the more upper middle class and affluent subdivisions of the New Orleans East, such as Lake Forest Estates, Eastover, McKendall Estates, Lake Carmel, Fairway Estates, Lake Bullard, Lake Barrington, and McKendall Place. Eastover is a gated community containing palatial homes and a Joe Lee designed golf course. By the late 1990s, the neighborhoods of Reed Boulevard East were no longer majority European American, but were practically favored as the preferred place of residence for New Orleans white-collar professionals and entrepreneurs. The far eastern portion of the New Orleans East has little urban development, although it still lies within the city limits of New Orleans. It includes Bayou Sauvage National Wildlife Refuge, Chef Menteur Pass, Fort McComb, Historic Pike, and scattered areas of essentially rural character like Venetian Isles, Irish Bayou, and Lake St. Catherine. Village de l'Est, taking its name from the French meaning of Eastern, is known for its Vietnamese community. The Vietnamese community is also known as Versailles, which takes its name from the capital city in north-central France. It will begin populating its earliest migrants who arrived in the years after 1975 after settling first in the Versailles Arms apartment complex of the New Orleans East. The commercial hub for this community extends along LC Fortier Boulevard within Village de l'Est. This area of New Orleans East is also home to the locally popular Vietnamese Farmers Market. With violent crimes in the New Orleans East being up 227%, the latest Metropolitan Crime Commission report would give the public a chance to see the types of crimes unfolding in each particular neighborhood of the New Orleans East. According to the report, the 7th District of New Orleans had the highest rate of major violent crime in the last 6 months.
You got low-income people living around here, whatever, so you got subsidized housing. A lot of Section 8, we was on Section 8, we left the 7th Ward and came to these things that was gonna be better than the fucking 7th Ward, and was we fucking wrong. We came around here in 94, 93 or whatever, around the same time Minutes came out, so it was just like that around here. Niggas were getting their head cracked.
The 7th District would also account for 57 carjackings, more than 1/3 of all carjackings citywide. Statistically speaking, from the outside looking in, Orleans East is a relatively dangerous part of the NO, outside of a few tourist areas.
Let's head to New Orleans East, where neighbors are sounding off right now after a shooting left 2 people dead overnight. It all happened near the Willows Apartments, which are off the I-10 service road. WDSU's Harrison Golden live outside that complex right now. Harrison, a lot of frustrated people in that part of the city.
The crime rate is 5,864 incidents per 100,000 people in the entire city of New Orleans, which is 150% higher than the national average. Residents have a 1 in 18 chance of becoming victims of any crime. Violent crime in New Orleans is also quite high, with murders averaging over 150 per year from 2014 to 2022. The 10 most dangerous neighborhoods in New Orleans would be identified as 1. Pines Village, 2. Westlake Forest, 3. Central City, 4. The Desire, 5. St. Claude, 6. The 7th Ward, 7. St. Roch, 8. Venetian Isles, 9. Florida Project Area, and 10. The Lower 9th Ward. The most dangerous neighborhood in New Orleans is Pine Village. With a population of 3,100, Pine Village has a crime rate that is 460% above the national average and 289% above the state average. Pine Village has a bad violent crime rate, with shootings and gang violence being common. Overall, residents have a 1 in 10 chance of being the victims of violent crimes.
Want this everyday big old things, full metal jackets, man. We ain't playing, man.
Another violent New Orleans neighborhood is Westlake Forest. The Westlake Forest area has a population of 4,200 and is known for being mainly poor and working class residents.
Well, new this morning, a man is dead after a shooting in the West Lake Forest neighborhood of New Orleans East. NOPD says it happened just before 9:30 last night at the intersection of Bundy and Lake Forest Boulevard. When officers arrived, they found a man with multiple gunshot wounds in the vehicle. He was taken to a local hospital where he later died.
The overall crime rate is 423% higher than the national average. Westlake Forest was greatly affected by Hurricane Katrina. After several redevelopment projects following the storm, Westlake Forest has slightly improved, but still remains a very dangerous part of New Orleans. Venetian Isles is a small but dangerous New Orleans neighborhood. It has a population of just 983, with a crime rate that is 214% higher than the national average and much higher than the New Orleans average. Due to being separated from the city by miles of undeveloped land, most of Venetian Isles neighborhoods is uninhabited. Each year, it would seem that New Orleans is in the running to be the country's murder capital, marked by high-profile tragedies such as the slayings of 2 ex-NFL players and the 3 young men killed at a graduation party in early June. With these kinds of crimes happening, it might not surprise anyone that the Goose had once seen 6 slayings within 2 city blocks.
Meaning either you become a killer or you get killed. Or you just play the middle part and be numb.
The Goose, which lies off of Interstate 10 across the Industrial Canal, not far from where the Arts Cuisine Festival that will draw 10 million tourists to the Big Easy would take place, will be recorded as a not too safe place to live.
It ain't no more pretty boy element with the East no more, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy Shaw came with that turn to East Beach, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of East Beats out here, from the younger East Beats to the big old beat.
A mere 4-minute walk takes you from the site of a triple slaying across the street from a church to the sites of 3 more killings, each within eyeshot of a house of worship. 6 homicides would triple the previous year's total, not counting the non-fatal shootings and stray bullets. Chef Montel Highway in Dalman Road in the New Orleans East has become notorious for crime. As of late, there has been at least 12 shootings, resulting in 8 homicides, along with 1 fatal stabbing. Now that we've set the stage, let's dive a little deeper. By a simple count, ignoring population, more homicides occur in the northeast part of Littlewoods than the other areas of Littlewoods, approximately 6 per year. However, the west side of Littlewoods would have fewer cases of murder, with only 2 per year. Compared to its surrounding neighborhoods, the rate of murder in Littlewoods would be much higher. An MCC report would read that Littlewoods is higher versus other neighborhoods of the same size for homicides.
And so today's shooting and murder are the latest violent crimes in what has been an increasingly violent year in New Orleans.
The city is just 1 shy of 200 homicides with about 3 weeks left of the year. And as Paul Murphy reports, the city had 201 murders for all of last year.
Considering only the murder rate, Little Woods would be recorded more unsafe than the Louisiana state average and even more unsafe than the national average. The former village of Michoud is home to Nassau Michoud Assembly Plant. It is also one of the unsafest parts of New Orleans after dark. According to crime analysis stats, New Orleans as a whole is safer than only 5% of the cities in the USA. Michoud would be at the top of the list for being unsafe due to its murder rate and geographical size. Data compiled by the Metropolitan Crime Commission would show that during the first quarter of 2023, the 7th District, which covers New Orleans East, ranked worst in every category of violent crime, which includes homicide, shootings, and robberies. East Shore for years has been one of the most violent areas of the New Orleans East. Both before and after Hurricane Katrina, East Shore would be plagued with dealing, homicides, and violence.
I got shot with a revolver, trick, no hammer, you hear me? Not too long ago, hit me in my stomach and shit, you hear me? Called me up, you hear me? Like, come on, let's go spin. Took me by the park, you hear me? Smoked my weed and everything, you hear me? We in a car, bust out the blue. Ain't you broken my car, with the roof? Like, man, I'm playing, man, I'm breaking cars and all that. And it was like, either you gonna pay draft or you jack. So I'm like, boy, it's whatever, you hear me? Nigga upped on me, put them bitches in my face. I try to grab them bitches, you hear me? Nigga hit me, boom, boom.
The homicide rate in East Shore will be up by 117% compared to the previous year. In 2017, a New Orleans police officer was shot and killed in the 6800 block of Cindy Place in the New Orleans East. The shooting took place near an apartment complex about 12:14 a.m. The officer returned fire and the suspect who was struck fled to an apartment. The officer who was hit was taken to University Medical Center where he would later die. This was the story of New Orleans East, the East Beast.
And again, this place can be very crazy and very rude, and really nobody cares about anybody down here. We are the #1 murder capital of the United States. People kill each other for no reason, and it's just a bad city, and people don't realize that. They come to New Orleans to visit this place and to party and see all the good points about it, but they don't stay no longer than a week, and they really don't understand that this place is really one of the worst places you can possibly live in.
Is we live?
Yeah, we live.
Is we live?
Yeah, we
they
live,
know,
bro.
They know how we coming, man.
Man, Timothy, I'm out the Desire.
I'm over in the lower ninth ward of New Orleans.
Well, we call the canal the lower nine, you heard me?
Nowadays is real wicked, and niggas dropping like flies.
Bitch up 5, I let you give me. I let you take everything out my pocket. You find a 10-5 in this bitch, I let you take everything off me.
The 5th District, known as the Bloody Fifth, accounted for the largest percentage of the city's murders in the record-breaking year of 1994. Nearly 1/3 of the homicides, 145 out of 421, would take place within its boundaries.
NOPD is also investigating a homicide in the 5th District. This was the scene. It happened around 3:30 this afternoon at the 1000 block of LaManche Street. Reports show a man with a gunshot wound was found in that area. He was pronounced dead on the scene.
Many of these murders occurred in the Desire and Florida housing projects. The sound of gunfire, often between ops who are at war, would be an all too familiar sound for residents of the 5th District. Even innocent bystanders became victims when stray bullets would put an end to their lives. For many years, the 5th District had been known as the stomping grounds for some of the NOPD's most corrupt officers. In 1985, Officer Lloyd Dickerson was arrested for a string of armed robberies he was accused of pulling off while in uniform patrolling the 5th District. The lower 9th Ward of New Orleans lies between the Industrial Canal, which connects the Mississippi River and Lake Pontchartrain, the St. Bernard Parish County line, Claiborne Avenue, and the river. The upper river side of the 9th Ward, aka the upper 9th Ward, is bounded by the Mississippi River north to Lake Pontchartrain, Almonester Avenue, and Peoples Avenue. From the north end of Peoples Avenue, the boundary continues on a straight line north to Lake Pontchartrain. On August 29th of 2005, Hurricane Katrina would make landfall just east of New Orleans, the fifth deadliest hurricane and the costliest natural disaster in the history of the United States. At approximately 10 a.m., the levee wall protecting the 9th Ward were hit with explosives in multiple sections, causing water to intrude and flood the area.
When it first happened, all the lights went out, wind, water, you know what I'm saying? They gave a warning to the city for everybody to evacuate. The last day before the storm came, they had no more gas. So if you didn't leave when it was time to leave, you basically was stuck.
This what we got to do. We either chill, try to take this chance, or go to the Superdome, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, you got motherfuckers getting killed at the Superdome.
The source of the failure and therefore the flooding of this neighborhood in 2005 as Hurricane Katrina moved through the area.
Multiple breaches in the levees of at least 4 canals will result in catastrophic flooding in majority of the city. Nowhere in the city was the devastation greater than in the lower 9th Ward. This was largely due to the storm surge generated in the Mississippi River Gulf Outlet, a deep draft shipping channel built by the Army Corps of Engineers in the late 1950s. The construction of the shipping channel destroyed tens of thousands of acres of protective coastal wetland that once acted as a storm surge buffer for the community. The force of water did not only flood homes, but smashed or knocked many off of their foundation.
My cousin, me, my brother, and we think, oh, now we're safe. And next thing you know, the house lifted off its foundation.
At the foot of the Mississippi River levee, which is the area's highest point, would take in some 2 to 3 feet of water. In total, 72 bodies were found as of December of 2005.
A daylight shootout in the lower 9th Ward leaves 1 man dead and police searching for suspects. According to police, more than 30 shots were fired from at least 3 weapons, while some of the bullets struck nearby houses, though only 1 person was wounded.
The murder capital, let's get murdered for dough. You don't know, but they got with your folks and find out. It's better than having your head off your shoulder than spine out. What that's telling you, before it get better, it gonna get worse. I swear to God, and then we all we got. We all we got, man. We all we have. That's real. Straight up.
The lower 9th Ward has a population of 5,560 with a crime rate that is 265% higher than the national average.
4GM, big 4P, you know what the fuck it is, man. Dang.
You know what I'm saying? Let them know where you from at.
I'm out of nine, you know what I'm saying?
9th Ward, shit, what that is doing?
Oh, this that bitch right here. Yeah, niggas ain't got this. Niggas ain't got this, yo. No cap.
The 9th Ward is a massive area of New Orleans comprising of several districts, including the Desire and the Lower 9th, with most of the Lower 9th section along the Industrial Canal.
I don't play with these little boys out here. Also, I got refugee recognition. You see this cross right here? Mm-hmm. This cross means I was a murderer. I wasn't playing. This is not for decoration.
In 1994, the Florida and Desire projects were named the most dangerous housing developments in the United States. Crime in the Florida area would since then calm down, although the violent crime rate would still be 296% higher than the national average. With a population of over just 1,400, residents of the area have a 1 in 11 chance of becoming victim of a violent crime.
They argue we should be asking who is profiting from these high-powered guns, and why do lawmakers allow them to be made and sold in the United States?
What are you going to shoot with an assault rifle?
The Desire Project is another one of the worst parts of New Orleans for violent crimes. The D, which is located in the 9th Ward, was once known for being one of the biggest housing projects in the United States, containing almost 1,860 units across 98.5 acres of land.
2 years ago, the Desire housing development was considered one of the deadliest communities in the country.
What you see around here now is a sharp contrast of 2 years ago. Children did not come out to play. Lawmen say dealers were on every corner. But not anymore, they say, because of community policing.
The Desire was also known as one of the poorest and most underserved parts of the NO. The overall crime rate in the D is a striking 383% higher than the national average. The 9th Ward portion of St. Claude Avenue has a population of 6,562 and a crime rate of 11,087 crimes per 100,000 people, which is 373% higher than the national average and 215% higher than the Louisiana state average. Shootings are common in the St. Claude Avenue area of the 9th Ward and are often related to street crews, robberies, and dealing.
Good morning and welcome to the early edition of the Eyewitness Morning News on this Tuesday, May 1st. I'm Leslie Spoon. We begin with breaking news from the St. Claude neighborhood. 5 people are recovering from gunshot wounds after an early morning shooting on St. Claude Avenue. Katie Steiner joins us live from the scene where officers are still trying to piece together exactly what happened. Katie, what can you tell us?
Hey, Leslie. Well, the scene is, you can see all the officers have left. This happened at 12:45 this morning. You had 5 people shot overnight. So officers got a call about shots fired about 12:45. So they came out here to St. Claude in Louisa, and that's where they found 3 people with gunshot wounds. 1 person had a gunshot wound to the shoulder. So EMS brought those people to the hospital, and then a little bit later, 2 more people showed up at the hospital with gunshot wounds. 1 person had a gunshot wound to the back. So that's all we know as of right now. 5 people were shot after a shooting here at St. Claude Avenue and Louisa. Now, at one time, police had 2 of these blocks blocked off, or the 3200 block and the 3300 block of St. Claude. But as soon as we get any more information, we'll pass it along to you here on WWL-TV, also on our website at WWLTV.com. Reporting live from the Bywater, Katie Steiner, Eyewitness News.
Katie, thank you so very much.
Residents have a 1 in 10 chance of becoming the victim of a violent crime in the St. Claude Avenue area. Crime analyst records will show that a violent crime takes place every 6 hours and 43 minutes on average in the lower 9th Ward.
I'm there now and I got my fucking eyes closed. The only thing I hear that bitch cock back. Don't run now, bitch. I'm like, what? Don't run. I open my eyes up, bitch. I see a big old motherfucker 44. Big nasty motherfucker. I'm looking at the slugs in that bitch. First thing in my mind, I said, no, please, no motherfucker kill me, no. Please, no. Don't take me out like that.
The 5th District, which includes St. Roch, the lower 9th Ward, Desire, Holy Cross neighborhood, and the 7th Ward, would have the highest rate of major and violent crimes.
Niggas phone, niggas phone. Yeah, this that mag thing right here. That's what this about.
According to recent data from the Metropolitan Crime Commission, the 9th Ward has bared the burden of the gun violence that has plagued the city streets over the last several years. About 25% of all homicides and non-fatal shootings reported in the city between 2016 and 2020 will take place in the 5th District.
Very max. Don't be scared when you see a nigga in public and like that and all that at the Instagram. Nah. Straight up. We not having that. Stepping on them niggas. Where young boy said, let me do my murder man thing. Bitch ass niggas.
Even in a city as accustomed to violence as New Orleans is, mid-2022 would be bone-chilling with 251 homicides at a rate of 5 per week, resulting in what would be America's highest murder rate.
And these latest killings just adding to the alarming crime statistics emerging in New Orleans. According to Jeff Asher with A&H Data Analytics, 93 murders have taken place in New Orleans between the beginning of 2022 through the month of April. 243 murders have also occurred over the past 12 months. Asher says that the city likely had the highest murder rates in the nation over the first 4 months of the year for big cities.
The rate at which New Orleanians were being killed was the highest it's been since the ghastly 1990s, coming just 3 years after the city recorded its lowest murder rate in half a century.